Peace and blessings, everybody. It's your girl Wendy Zizzo here with Nappy Red and Kirk the Jerk, and we are Awareness Academy 411. You know the drill. You know, it's for educational purposes only. If it applies, then it apply, and if it don't, let it fly. Don't try this at home, and if you do, it's on you. Let's begin with our sound off. Red, take it away.
Peace, 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 y'all. Today's sound off, we're gonna talk about people throwing their business up on social media, and then when they get the backlash, when people, you know what I'm saying, get at them, they catch an attitude. So
Ooh.
my thing is this: why you put your business on Facebook and you know people's gonna comment with some dumb shit, some probably some stuff that you might want to hear and everything. So will you put your business up on social media, peoples?
Uh,
Sound off on that.
Sound absolutely not. Feel like look at people that do that need a therapist, because they really want
You
to
said a
like vent
therapist?
and express themselves. And instead of them getting a therapist and doing that in a healthy setting, they'll just throw it on social media. And like you said, when all the backlash come, now you upset. It's like, yeah, because you didn't put your stuff out in a healthy environment. Like,
That's a
what
Yeah,
do you
fact,
think was
though.
gonna happen?
yeah, that's true. Like, why do people put their stuff up there? Like, I don't understand. I just see a lot of people putting stuff up there talking about they baby daddies or their baby mamas or their family fight. It's a lot of family fight and stuff like that. And then the crazy part, people they egg that on. They be like, "Is you okay?" First, they want to know, "Is you all right?" You can call me if you want to, but they won't be nosy
Hmm.
and everything. So, so
Well,
they
I mean,
be
That's a
that's the
like,
fact.
main thing right there. Everybody's on social media to be entertained. So when you put your business out there, you're
yeah, that's
giving
true.
people what they want. And now you become, the butt of a joke or the topic of the day.
The donkey of the day.
If you want that type of attention, then, that's the point of you doing it in the first place. Like, people, they really want attention because at that moment they need to be seen. And it's not about needing to be seen publicly, it's just in general. Like, they're not
Yeah.
feeling seen or heard with whatever they're dealing with, so they're gonna go on social media instead of find a therapist and
So,
do that
so,
in a
so, tell
safe,
me this.
productive environment.
Tell me if one of your family members put your business up on Facebook, will you go back and forth with them on Facebook?
I might say you're wilding, and that'll be the last thing I say, and then that's it. Like, I'm just to address that you're wilding right now, and then they're getting phone calls or pull-ups to the house. Like, what you doing? Delete that shit. Like, don't be, you know. I was thinking about it today. How, I've had situations with people that weren't bold enough to come to me and have the conversation or express their problem, but they was bold enough to go
Yeah,
behind my back and talk to people about me, and or even like you're saying, to post on social media. Like, if you bold enough to do
yeah,
that, you should have been bold enough to come at me with your problem. You know
That's
what I
true,
mean?
though.
Like,
That's
be
true.
be mature, or you just want people to take your side. You know what I mean? So you're
Hmm.
putting
yeah.
this out on
Basically
social
that. Yeah,
media because you trying to get people just to see your side, and you want them to agree with you that that this person is the problem. But by you posting and showing people that you're the problem. Like,
That's true. That's crazy, though. That's crazy that you say that. I agree with that 100%. But
yeah, like
yeah,
so
man.
so do you think people when they like just like in school, like say if we in school and people will start a fight, I always tell the little kids this. I said you always want to fight when you know somebody's going to break it up. I said fight after school so nobody don't break it up. It's a whole different ball game now,
hmm
and that's what grown up people too. They want to
hmm
throw they stuff out on social media, like you said, to
Yep.
get people to back them and also jump on their side and be like, is who's right or wrong, such and such and such. Those people, I believe, they punked because if they really want to smoke, they'll come to you in your face
That's
hmm
true.
and pop off. and everything.
absolutely.
100%.
My thing with people on Facebook that brings that drama to Facebook, go to their house, pop off. When you see them, pop off. Stop bringing everybody else into it, and then they friends get into it, and they start arguing. Oh, fuck that bitch! And, you know, it's a big
Like 50
mess.
Cent said,
And
it's
then,
a problem, pop off. G-Unit.
Yeah, but then a month later, you see them taking pictures and drinking. You'd be like, all that.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, like this is your reputation now. This is how people are gonna see you forever. Like I've seen couples, I don't know them personally, but I see them on FaceTime, on Facebook or whatever. They've crashed out on Facebook before, and then when I still see them together, I'm like, You know, it's like for me personally, I'm not gonna get to a point where I'm disrespectful unless if I know that's the last thing you're gonna hear from me. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna see me no more after that. You're not gonna talk to me no more. I'm gonna get my last and I'm done. Like I'm not gonna sit here and get all disrespectful because at the end of the day, if you got me to a point where I get disrespectful, you've obviously disrespected me more than once.
Real talk.
You know what I mean? So if I get to a point where I'm disrespecting you, that's because that's your cutoff. Like that's the you know, you're gonna get that and you're gonna remember that shit for the rest of your life because I'm gonna cut deep.
That's it.
You know, especially if it's something I'm writing. Oh man, you heard some of my writing.
Yeah, you're a very cutthroat writer. You're a good writer though. You're right. You don't want to be on the other side of that pen, you know, situation. Like it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's needed though. I mean, some people assholes, and the best way to get at them is to get at them by writing, you know, and A lot of men are salty out there. You know what it is? I'm not even mad at them because a lot of them never got a chance to, or nobody never told them how to handle their emotions. So there's a lot of men out there running around being salty, you know. And if you could be, still be antagonizing towards a woman, you really have to need your head examined. Because to me, my only battles I have is with other men, meaning that I would try to my brother to your death. But if you get it popped, I'm like, yo, what's up? I get a problem with a man, but I'm not gonna be squared up with a woman. That don't even make sense to me. I barely want to square up with another dude. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm way past that. I'm too old. I'll be out here telling you, yo, man, I just got in a fight with this dude because he said something. I'm too old for that shit, man. I'm like, bro, you got it. Bye. You know what I'm saying? Because we got way more shit to lose than they do. These dudes are out here looking to fight somebody to prove no points. Just to prove that they could go back to jail and get three free meals.
That's what I'm saying. Where people are expressing, you know, that they having all these feelings and all these emotions, and instead of just going to a therapist to go to a safe and productive space with their emotions, they want to go and get emotional and start acting it out. They want to fight somebody. They want to pew somebody. Like. You know, it's like, bro, go to see a therapist. Like,
but
I think.
Go ahead.
No, I just think sometimes maybe the reason why they kind of square it because you got some psychiatrists are quick to like try to give you medications.
Well, that's a psychiatrist versus a therapist.
Yeah, that's true. But you got
therapists don't have the ability to write medication.
Yeah, I know they don't. They only could just give you mental therapy.
Sometimes talk therapy, like I mean, in my opinion, talk therapy is a helpful form of therapy. It's not the end all. Like I feel like if you're gonna do talk therapy, you should be doing. If we're gonna talk about the psychology field, people should be doing EMDR and talk therapy in tandem. And EMDR is
Adderall
in there.
No, that's EMDR
let me get
called
some stimulus or some shit.
Wait, EM is eye movement EMD dissociation regulation. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but basically
school lesson.
But it is no, so what it is a process where it helps people to tune into their traumas without actually, like, how do I say it? It's like it helps you get into your subconscious, you know, and they do something where you're moving your eyes back and forth, And as you're moving your eyes back and forth, then you're asking you questions and you're bringing up certain things, and it's helping your mind, and it moves from one part of your brain to another part of your brain, and that helps you to now conceptualize and logic a situation now that you can work through it, and it'll resolve the trauma. For me, I learned about EMDR because it's a psychology thing, but on the more spiritual side, if we're going to use spiritual terms, this is called shadow work or integration. And I can achieve the same result as EMDR with the tools that I've developed over the years with, doing integration. So it's like learning how to tune into how you're feeling and have a conversation with your emotion. Like when your emotion comes up, like really with that feeling, separate it from the story of what's going on, but you have to continuously keep breathing while you're doing this, because you have to stay grounded, because some people, as you're doing it, you'll start holding your breath and you don't even realize it, and that's when you'll like, because you're so
you cray cray.
Huh?
You cray cray.
Yeah, you'll go like, because you're not allowing the whole process to move through you, because it's energy. So when people can tune in with their emotions, that's how you heal.
Yo, check this out, man. I ain't gonna lie, your boy Trump out here really raiding the hell out of motherfuckers. He just raided John Bolton. He said, they raided his house. It says a tour bus crash. And what's even crazy? A tour bus crash in New York with multiple fatalities.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I've seen that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's up there by Utica, right?
Yeah, that's crazy,
Damn,
man.
condolences to the families of those people. That sucks, man.
But the crazy part, I was looking at that on the news, and a lot of people was asking what nationality was on the bus. Like, and
so what? It's human beings.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was human beings on the bus.
Nah, but usually
people with mothers, people with fathers, people with children.
I mean, if we want to be honest, anytime there's like a major crash, and it's sad to say for any race, that's a white people thing normally. Usually a lot of white people die one time.
Was crashing left and right.
Oh, the China bus almost took my life one time. They had me stand the whole 7 hours.
No disrespect to the Chinese community, we love.
But it was cheap tickets. You got tickets for $20, bro.
There is a
Greyhound.
history
Niggas is hopping on that, and they get you there. They don't do pit stops. Take that shit all the way VA, one stop in Maryland. I said, boom. Word. They had niggas standing on that shit one time. I'm talking about we standing like we in a bus, like we on a regular city bus, holding the thing together and shit, while we on the China bus going all the way to New York because we was desperate. He's like, oh, just go on, okay, oh yeah, go on, no problem.
Just get on, huh? Just get on the bus and pray.
This might be a joke, and I don't know if Jerome Powell is just flirting with Donald Trump, but he said that as a possibility it's going to be some interest cuts going. But when you listen to all the economists say that because people spending so much, it's their first indicator that the economy is actually going to crash, not crash, burn, but we're going to have a recession in a minute. And a lot of jobs are starting to lay off again, so it's starting to get a little critical. And right now in Gaza, which is scary, is that they say there's actually a whole famine out there. Like people are starving out there, and
of course they over there taking their food and stuff. But
the Israeli government,
I don't want to get too deep into that conversation.
No. We could just basically talk about what's been reported. The Israel government is stating that they're only trying to draw out. They don't want the troops Hamas to benefit from it. But I'm saying, in my opinion, I'm like, when you want people to eat anyway, like I understand you want Hamas to be gone, but there's people that has nothing to do with Hamas that's gonna starve to death. So
listen, at the end of the day,
sad.
I mean, maybe I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this. I don't even care because it's still a fact. They can keep using that Hamas as every excuse as they want to do this to these people, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
like
they did it to us over here. So
shit.
Yeah,
let me tell you, and you know, it's another thing a lot of people is not really paying attention to. All our rights right now is being stripped, little by little, and then if you notice, Trump is going against all the black elected officials, women, black men,
all
the
cities that have black mayors.
Yes, think about it. Chicago's on his radar right now.
They already in DC now.
So if anybody want to know that Trump is if he's promoting a white nationalist movement, yo, the results is right there for you, bro. The receipts is in the situation that's happening.
Look. I'm gonna tell you why all this is going on right now. You know, white people is dying at an alarming rate. They not reproducing at all.
That's been a study.
The study comes up that there's more 40-year-olds right now than there are younger women with children. Like birth rates have gone down dramatically because we can't afford to live.
No. With the black and brown people, we definitely gonna be around for another long time. White people is not going to be around that much longer. So when they said when you panic, they panicking. They like, hold up, listen, we gotta listen.
I would say here in America, it's more like the only biggest concern they have is that they feel like they need to be the majority in order to keep power. But if you look at the world, they could damn near control the world, and they not the majority nowhere. So I don't know why they have that.
They never
consensus that. No, I'm just saying. I don't understand why they need that general consensus that they need to be the majority in order to have power. They supposed to be the majority of the United States, but they're minority everywhere. But they still control a lot of ports and a lot of companies and intertwined with stocks. That's the technology. White man behind it, and that's why I'm confused. Like, and everything. Why they even worried about who's the majority in this country?
If we stick together as one, all that technology shit will go out the window.
Everybody think they're better than each other. Everybody think
listen, the division goes deep.
And if we both, let's say we both say we're not black. Let's say we both say we're Native American. You know what's gonna be the next argument? I'm Blackfeet, you another tribe. Oh, my tribe is better than yours. Instead of just saying, yo, we both Native American.
We not even Native American.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that, and I'm just
no.
Example. I know that.
I want to touch on that.
No, we technically are Native American.
No, Native American is a term that came after us. Yeah. We're not Indian. We're actually the indigenous of this
and
land.
Mexicans.
We're not Indian because we don't originate from India.
Wait,
when you say India,
back up. Red, what say this at?
Native Indians are Siberian people and Mexicans. They not us. I hate when
hold on. Pause real quick. I seen a study, right, that they found that back when Christopher Columbus came to this land, he called it India, and he coined the term India before Hindustan. That's what India used to be called, Hindustan. What we call modern day India now was called Hindustan back then. And this land was called India. That's why he called over here India. So the original Indians were the copper people that were here already. Us.
I'm gonna let you know all that was lies. All that's made up. Because if you look at it,
there's a lot of historical facts and artifacts.
You had Siberia, and Mexico. Hold up. You know
Siberia?
what? No,
you talking about Russia?
You know what Mexican?
No, the red face and the red face Native Americans and some of the like the people that were Mayans, right? But more so the red face Indians, they migrated from Siberia. They came up over that land bridge, came down to Canada and came through. No, the people from Siberia, from Asia. That's one. One group of people that was here already. That came later.
We don't look like
copper colored people. No, we look like the copper colored people that were here first. They were already here.
Exactly. Hold on. You're not American Indians.
Hold on a second. Let's get this clear right here. Siberia is in Russia, where they have the gulags, the prison, Russian prison. That's that part. And Siberia is off the coast of Alaska. When you look at Alaska, that part of Russia that it touches, which is only like 40-something miles away from Alaska, that's Siberia. That's cold. That's where they got Siberian Huskies and stuff like that. You try to say the Russian people?
They
came
are
down?
Native
you got to
Americans.
remember, even Europe and Russia had black people.
Yeah. No, black people was everywhere. Because like a lot of people don't understand what I believe in. This is my opinion. White people is from us, but they albinos from us.
albinism.
And
that's the terminology that
exactly.
that they suffer
Siberia.
from.
I knew I wasn't bugging. It is Siberia. So Siberia is a country on that side of the world, which would be more so Russia, but it's Asia. Like Russia's a lot small. Like Russia's really big, but Asia is huge too. And they also just commissioned I think it's recently that they're gonna redo all the maps over because they've been purposely making all of the bigger continents like Africa look like they're small, and then they make Europe and Asia look mad big. And
you could fit Africa, you could fit China, you could fit America, you could fit a few countries inside the continent of Africa.
They make Greenland look damn near as the size of Africa. No.
That's because it's European. Remember, it's all about what's considered importance. So when they made the map, they drew the map according to what's important.
That was their damn ego. That's what the hell that was.
Just saying, like, if I'm a European, right, and I travel within this region, I'm not gonna make Africa big. What's the point if I'm not really going there like that?
No, if you're an egotistical, savage European, you would do something like that. Because why would you lie about the size just because this is where I'm from? I'm gonna make my town look the biggest.
No, I could look at it both ways. Because here's the thing: if I'm a European, right? I'm a European, and let's say if I am racist, but that's not even my point. My main focus is to be able to go back and forth
and create power.
No. I'm talking about my main focus is to go back and forth between the countries that I go and stuff. So that's why all the European countries are a lot bigger, England and all those places, and Greenland and stuff like that. But the reality is that we know that it's much smaller, and you can fit damn near all those countries in the continent of Africa.
You can fit Europe into half.
Africa is insignificant.
You can fit Europe into America, to North America, and it still ain't taking up the whole thing. It's like taking up half, if that much. You can fit all the countries in Europe can fit right into the United States. Because that's why people say, oh, why don't people in the United States travel more? All we gotta do is go to another state.
You said all the countries.
United States is huge, but what I was saying though is that
Ukraine is like the size of Texas. If anybody knows, Ukraine, the country of Ukraine is almost the same size as Texas. That's the size that's on the map.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like they purposely did that to the map to create this dynamic of power that the North is stronger than the South, right? To make them look bigger, everyone lower. But the copper colored people, the melanated people that were on this land were reclassified 4 or 5 times since the 1600s. We started off as Indians because that's what Christopher Columbus. I'm saying we started, meaning Christopher Columbus came here. He wrote it in his diary.
He never made it to America.
Indians. That's what he called the people here. But
he never made it to America. He only went to the Caribbean islands. That's the reason why they have a statue.
True, yeah, that's where he massacred the Tainos and a few other cultures. Like he reduced a whole population to practically nothing. Crazy.
But remember what they don't even talk about. There's diseases that quote unquote white people was carrying on them in their bodies. I'm not talking about them giving a blanket.
Nah, they was doing that on purpose.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that just their body and the stuff they had on it was dirty to the point that it made the people sick. So if you want to talk about Puerto Rico, perfect example, Puerto Rico. Who was the conqueror of Puerto Rico? His name is Ponce. His last name is Ponce. I think it's Raul Ponce. Raul Ponce. Well, Raul Ponce was the conqueror of Puerto Rico. We can't forget
this one major part, though. Spain had their hold on everything before the Europeans even came around.
Not Spain, just not Spain by itself.
Spain was
French.
doing the
French in Spain was the French and the Spaniards. They was
we give the Europeans credit for their savagery, but the Spaniards.
The French is the one that did the more damage because look at how they have Africa.
Spanish people did it.
Let me explain.
Listen, the people of Mexico wouldn't even speak Spanish if it wasn't for the Spaniards.
No. Let me explain why I say
that's
that.
Not the original
I'm talking about like when you look at the continent of Africa, France got it on smash. That's why a lot of African people speak
Oh,
French
yeah,
and they
Well, yeah, the
words
same
and
thing
all
they
that
did to
stuff.
Haiti. Like
Now,
people in Haiti, they don't know what their original language
France
was.
conquered Haiti too. France conquered the whole thing, Dominican Republic too, and France beat part of the Spaniards from Spain. They beat them and took part of their land that they was conquering because they was all in a conquering fest. Even though they're supposed to be civilized against towards each other, they was killing each other too, as well as taking over land at the same time because they looked like this is for the goal. Because a lot of these lands where they was conquering, the people was peaceful. They didn't need they had all the minerals and the resources they need. They didn't need to be savages towards each other like being in part of Europe because Europe really didn't produce that much resources. So people come down to the south part and I could get all this. You got people in Africa walking around with jewelry, you know what I'm saying, dragging it on their foot, on their ankle, and it has no currency. It has no
Well, they
it just looks
understood.
nice.
See, back then they understood that gold is a conduit of energy, right? Just like how copper is a great conduit of energy. If you have anybody that's into like if you're an electrician, you understand it's like gold is the best thing to transfer energy with, to have some type of energy with. So putting gold on your body and putting gold in the land actually helps the energy of your body, and it helps the energy of the land. The thing is that
but they
when
didn't know
the
that.
Europeans,
They just wanted
well,
they
not
just
just
use it as
Europeans, but
currency.
when the Greeks came in and they started seeing all this gold, they tried to or they interpreted that as being powerful. So for
It's just a
them,
rarity, though. It was just
well, it was rare for them because
no. I'm
even
talking about
here,
rarity in general, meaning that the fact that it was rare, it was a rare,
no, it was not.
metals.
Gold was not rare at all.
No,
At
what
a
I'm
point,
saying, no, what I'm
when
saying
they
is the
came
reason.
here, when
No,
they
I'm
came to
talking about the white
America,
man. The way they judge it the fact that it was rare. It was a
no, it
rare
was rare
thing
for
that
them. But I'm
it was
saying that
rare
any
for
other
them,
continent you go
yeah,
to,
but it was
gold out
yeah,
here in America, on the North American continent,
yeah.
before they came,
we had
you
all
can
the
walk
gold
around and pick gold up off the
up.
floor.
Yeah,
It was
that's a fact.
everywhere.
Because it started in America first. A lot of people don't understand.
What started in America?
Everything started in America, so-called America
Like
first,
what?
not Africa.
No, that's not true. And the
No,
problem,
I'm
now let
telling
me
you.
explain to you. First of all, there's ancient artifacts in Africa that's way predates here. Two, America at some point 12,000 BC was frozen. This whole fucking landmass was even habitable. So who the hell was living here at that time?
Well,
That's
I'm gonna
scientifically
add to
proven.
that.
We don't even have to go to history books.
So
we
wait,
got
wait.
scientific instruments that determines that part right there.
It's a lot of technology.
North America, this continent.
Not everything is a
hold
trick,
on,
bro.
real quick. Let me interject this real quick. North American continent, just like all other major places along the meridians of the planet, right, had some type of civilization, some type of monolithic or energy towers, so to say. We call them pyramids. They were in the North America, in
first.
the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon itself, hold up, the Grand Canyon has a natural metal in it that is not found really anywhere else in the world. So that was one of the sites, just like how when you go to Cairo in Egypt, that's another site. When you go down to Mexico where the Mayans were, that's another site.
Look up, like if you go to Haiti, they got a material in Haiti that don't
there's
have
pyramids in Antarctica. Yeah. There's pyramids all over the world that were placed there because there's a natural energy grid that this planet has. So the people that understood this technology, they went and built all these civilizations everywhere. And the native people,
but you got to remember,
us,
you got to remember,
our
this
ancestors,
is all one landmass.
Yeah, that's
so obviously
Pangea.
you're gonna see pyramids. Here in Africa, you're gonna see the same pyramids in America.
There's pyramids in Ohio right now.
You gotta see pyramids all over the place. The only reason why you see them all over the place because it was one landmass, and then it broke apart.
Yeah, but look,
nah, this happened after
the oldest pyramid is in America. Do your history and research that.
Yo, there's pyramids in China. There's pyramids in China that make Giza look
the oldest pyramids in Mexico, South America.
Like I'm
and
saying,
South
but there's
America is part of
pyramids
Africa.
all
If
over
you
the
look at
planet.
if you look at South America, the only thing that's old as Africa is South America because they got the same. When they did the testing and they test all the minerals, they see that as almost identical to Africa. A lot of stuff there is identical to Africa, and when you look at the puzzle between South America and Africa, you see that it was one landmass. You could tell because it's almost like playing Lego.
You
Not Legos. It's
There
almost
was
like
land
playing
in
a
the
puzzle
middle
game.
in the Atlantic Ocean
So if
too.
anything
They
is
called it
close,
Atlantis.
that's why the most mineral rich places on the whole
North
entire
America
Earth
and South America
is in
was
Africa
together
and South
as
America.
one.
South America and Africa has all the minerals the world needs. Only two places Everywhere else, they need to get something from somewhere.
Listen, do you know how
Not
many
South
land
America
masses?
and not Africa.
Hold up.
That explains everything. The origin of everything.
There's major land masses right now under the Atlantic Ocean. There was Atlantis. Atlantis was between North America and Africa. Like Atlantis was huge, and it was either a meteorite, something hit, and it flooded the whole planet. And so that major flood that everybody talks about and all the religions all around the world, that happened because there was a flooding on the planet. How it happened, we don't know yet, completely, like factually. It's been theorized that it was a meteor. It's been theorized that it was, some type of climate change that forced all that to happen. But until the truth comes out, which it will, because there's only three things you can't hide for long. That's the sun, the moon, and the truth. So it will come out eventually. But overall, people can't discredit that North American continent has just as much history and power in terms of the energy grids and the historical background as Africa.
I was wrong. The oldest pyramid is in Egypt. My bad.
That's the Saqqara. Yeah, the step pyramid, the Saqqara pyramid is the oldest in Egypt.
Nah, this one.
Saqqara. Yeah. So I was there.
That's the old. That's clearly the oldest too.
Yeah, that's the oldest.
I knew that,
pyramid.
But it was one in Mexico that they was trying to make claims of it, and then when all the scientists from around the world studied both of it, they realized that no, this one's still older than all of them.
Well, like I said, there's still pyramids that have not been uncovered yet all around the world. So we really don't know what's the oldest.
And I need for people to understand one clear thing, because people keep on saying, "Oh, we got a Cairo right here, we got a Memphis right here," because they got a Memphis in Egypt too, and we got all these names, and people like, why the hell?
Egypt was in America.
Why, they and the only reason why they have that mindset is because if they understand the Freemasons originated, the origin come from Egypt. So since we know that the Freemasons come from Egypt, what they do when they conquer a land like America, because they the ones. No, I'm just saying. What they do when they come to America, they conquer the land, right? The land is conquered, and they created their own system, like their own Egypt.
They knocked off all the information they stole. Yeah. No.
So I'm not going that deep. I'm just saying in general, like all the names. Remember, all the names and stuff like that comes from them. So all these street names that you hear, anything that's resemble of Egypt, it comes from them. They the ones that name all the streets. They the founders of America.
Some of them were already here though. Yeah, huh? Some of them were already here because there's maps. There's maps from There's maps from the 1800s, back when they used to do the world fairs. That there's remnants of the Tartarian Empire, of the people, the copper colored people that was here already, building amazing things already, had amazing technology already. If you look at a lot of the photos from the 1800s, you'll notice that all the skies are always white. They're whited out. You'll see people in horse and buggies, but yet there's buildings that look like they were built in Manhattan.
But they was built off of slaves. And remember, slavery started in
They was already here.
Why people forget that slavery started in 1619? It started in 1619 here in America.
That.
They had a couple hundred years to do some stuff before 1800.
No, a lot of people don't know.
Slavery started in 1619 here in these Americas. 1619.
They took the copper people from America and brought them
over to Africa. Yes, back and forth.
That's how Africa and Egypt and all that shit got built up, because they came from here first.
No. Well, I won't say that
this place wasn't habitable. I'm trying to tell you,
like
this place wasn't even habitable.
Look at it this way: Africa was not the only place that human life was in the beginning. They were all over, because remember, it was all one big landmass. So it was all over the whole landmass.
Now,
so
what you just said,
just the continent Africa, because Africa was created once everything broke apart. So
Red said it was
everywhere.
right. Red just said it was right. China, on the coast of Africa, the Chinese looking black people phenotype, those are original people on this whole entire planet. Nobody older than them is the older race on this planet.
The South Africa, they're from South Africa.
Yeah, but like on the coast of China, and they have the Chinese eyes, they chinky eyes and all stuff.
There was a scientist in China. There was a scientist in China that did extensive testing, like months and months of testing, and he finally came to the admitting that Chinese people originated from Africa. So, but my point is that there were people all around on all of the land masses in the world. It wasn't just the African continent, because you got to remember the African continent was fused in with other land masses. So before that continent was what it is now, it was part of a larger mass. So there was people everywhere. And then once things started to split apart, things went underwater, people migrated, they're trying to get away from whatever's going on, they just spread out even more.
But but the creation of the land, like when you look at the most resourceful part of the land is where Africa and South America at. No other place on this planet has more resources than those two places.
But there's resources in the Grand Canyon area that they're not telling us about.
Grand Canyon got some stuff, but let me tell you something. It's still nothing like.
You know what I found out recently too? Africa. Staten Island, Toad Hill, used to be an iron ore a mine. I did not know that. That Toad Hill, the entire Toad Hill, because Toad Hill is actually the highest point on the eastern seaboard below Maine, was an iron ore mine. So that means that if we had those type of resources just here on the East Coast, just imagine what's over there. I'm pretty sure there's resources that they still haven't uncovered yet. I think they found something recently in was it Oklahoma or one of these other states. They found some natural resource, and I think it was Kansas, Oklahoma, one of these mid western states that they found.
You're gonna find some resources on any continent or any place.
Of course, because the Earth is awesome.
It was one landmass, so you're gonna find awesome. Resources.
And gold should be used to help us improve our energy field, our bodies, and our land, and not just look good and sell it.
you're looking at it from a currency. I mean, you're looking at it from a
holistic.
And the white man wasn't looking at I could use this gold to do current. No, I could use this gold for currency.
That's what I'm saying.
It was their currency.
They seen it as gold.
So
when they got it as power.
No, they seen it as money.
Power.
Money. They didn't look at it as something.
They
look at it as money.
Power.
It is power.
Money doesn't necessarily equal power. Look at Elon Musk. He got bitch smacked by Donald Trump.
Well, we talking
about
that
nigga quiet now. So they'll let you know
power.
All the money in the world, you still a bitch. I'm telling the truth.
Just like Mansa Musa had all that money, and they gave him a lot of power. He had so much money, he was collapsing economies because he was giving away so much.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you read his book, if you read the studies of him, he didn't look at himself as a rich person. Everybody around him depicted him that way, and that was people from outsiders. It wasn't the people in his culture, because
it doesn't matter what he thought of himself. It matters what everybody else seen him as at the end of the day, and they seen him as a powerful man because he had so much gold and money.
But it wasn't the gold. It wasn't the gold that made him powerful. It was the things that used to come out of his mouth, his speeches.
It was the fact that he was giving so much money away. Like he built so many universities in Africa. Like that's powerful.
But that's what he's known for, and it wasn't his. And this is, I'm trying to get everybody to understand how Africa was back then. As far as a lot of research, Africa wasn't trading on no currency with gold. He just was a very intelligent person that he was building universities and explaining science to people and having other people try to get involved. So yeah, he did a lot of good stuff, but he's really, when you actually research him, gold is just one of 100 things that he's known for, but he's known for a lot more than what everybody talks about. Yeah, on paper, yeah, he might be the most richest man in the world because of all the gold. But remember, back then, Africans wasn't trading on currency of gold. That wasn't considered. Gold was just like, okay, I got gold. All right, I'm rich in this raw materials here. Oh yeah, I got a lot of it. I'm wearing jewelry and all that. But white man is the one that look at as, oh shit, look all this gold. Because they're already trading over in A section on currency, and they took that money. Hey, we could be rich with this. Mansa Musa was just a very intelligent man. He didn't care about that stuff.
No, it's not that they said that we can be rich with it. It said we can create.
We can create
a system.
We could conquer.
And this is the thing that we're gonna use that makes us look valuable.
Look, they already knew when they discovered us people. They knew how brilliant we was. They seen our cities. They seen what we can do. They took all of that knowledge and said, okay, we're going to dumb them down and we're going to make this money and build our power and our wealth. And that's what happened.
Yeah. But you want something funny? Now, this is another thing that I want to mess everybody up right now in America. Because people say, oh no, I wasn't a slave. Oh no, I wasn't a slave. Oh, you wasn't? I said, okay, so what was your name? And then when you say your last name is Hamilton,
white people were slaves too.
No, I'm just saying.
No,
if you say your last name is Hamilton,
Europe.
If you say your last name is Hamilton and your last name is Jenkins, I said, why don't you just go look up your crust? Because there's a crust for all these last names that we possess. Now, we had some weird, awkward, horrible, weird name, and we still born in America, the chances are you might have haven't been a slave. But at some point, people that look like us were slaves everywhere. We all, whether we came on the ship or not, at some point, we got slaves. That's the reason why we got our slave master's last name, because that's how they had to keep ownership of us. Like, I'm a Neesmith, right? So all the Neesmiths, they have us on a plantation. And then my grandmother, the Scots. They got the Scots on the Scots plantation. And guess what? And guess what? The Scots and the Neesmiths intertwine with each other so much that some of my families on both sides because they was next to each other, and that was the plantation. But a lot of people, when they say, "Oh, I'm not a descendant of slave," I said, "All you have to do is look at your last name. It's just that easy." You know why? Because you somebody's financial situation. You somebody's dollar.
People wasn't descendant of slaves either. A lot of people wasn't. It was only
a lot of people were.
People think
your last name. I mean, tell me. Don't give me no white man last name and tell me you wasn't a slave or a part of a slave system.
Well, you know the name Brown.
Tell me that. I want somebody to explain that, because every time I have this conversation, people are like,
they want.
I don't know.
You know the name Brown.
We didn't have these white British names.
Hold up, wait. You know, like the name like Brown, Armstrong, Johnson.
White names.
No, it wasn't. Some
Indian?
of them were actually some of the freed people named themselves after something they were like, just how Native Americans named themselves off of some of the things they did. You got people that were called brown because they called themselves what their color was.
But you got to ask yourself a question.
You got people
why
that
they
was
have
called
to call
Armstrong
free people, and why they have to call themselves a last name for?
What?
If they wasn't a slave before? If they wasn't a digital servant or anything?
Everybody was
but I'm saying when they became freed, they named themselves, is what I'm saying.
But you understand, they still was a slave at one point. That's the point I'm trying to make.
They were a prisoner at one point. We ain't gonna call them slave. They were a prisoner that was
a digital service. Some people was probably under the Arab rule.
Actually, the correct term is enslaved. I don't like calling out our ancestors slaves, because they weren't slaves. They were enslaved people. You know, that's the correct term. That's what we should be calling them. We're enslaved people, because when you call somebody slaves on some level, psychologically, that has a negative undertone, and it also brings down their value on some level. They were enslaved people.
The whole terminology is
semantics matters.
Slave or enslaved.
They were enslaved.
Because most the average person ain't gonna understand. See, you're a very intelligent person. You gotta get out of your box and look at.
Well, then the only way the dumb people gonna know is if the smart people use the right words.
I'm like, what?
Exactly.
Like, the word ain't gonna change what happened.
See, I like what Wendy said.
Wendy, you know you're very intelligent. That's why I'm like.
Wait, hold on. Let Red talk. Hold up.
Okay, I
got you. We got this narrow. this narrative to dumb us down. Narrative, yeah, to dumb us down and everything. Just like you saying, you dumbing us down. You're not educating people. When you try to educate people on how different layers this shit
so
goes
when they talk about history in this country, right? All right, so what we did before this? Where's it?
We did a lot of amazing shit.
No, I'm not talking about an interim of after slavery. When you look at history in America, what they teach in school, and then what people know. Most people only know
they
struggles of slavery.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Like
what,
we are old.
What generation?
The point I'm trying to make is that we're a very old race, right? But why, as a very old race, we only got documented maybe 500 years, 600 years worth of
because you got wicked ass people that hide in all this information. They burn books. They burn libraries. Like what you talking about?
Well, we got documented. In 1950,
how you doing?
1960s. We got documented. Peace. We ain't get 1850. That's when we black people started getting documented in America.
We've been documented way before that because we was considered financial commodities. That's why they have historical records. That's why some people are able to trace their lineage.
It started in 1850.
Before that. First of all, slavery. Remember, here in these United States, and I gotta remind people. Slavery started around 1619, 1600s.
That was the
indentured servants.
No, it started as indentured servitude.
No, we was in indentured services.
No, it started as indentured servants, and then they started bringing over people from Ghana and such. So they started to records. If you know, I need to take a trip to Europe and go to that museum, the British Museum, because the British Museum has all of the information there from all of the boats that came here. They have all the manifests over there in those.
It wasn't that many boats that came in.
But you don't need. But here's the beauty of it. No. Here's the trick.
It's not a lie. That's why they got it in the museum.
Guys, here's the trick. Right here in New York. If you want to see if your family came through here and all that stuff like that. They got records here that you can actually research. No, let me tell you something. The only thing I find
they don't have enough records out here.
Let me tell you something.
They're gonna have records.
Red. The reason why I said some of this shit is accurate. The reason why some of this shit is accurate because my last name is Neesmith. That's one way. Let me give you a perfect example. The reason why my last name is Neesmith is because the history of the Neesmith family. No, it's British. It's British. But remember, all the people was coming from Europe, right? With slaves. Bringing them here,
white slaves.
So when they own their slaves,
hold up, wait,
hold on a second. Let me give a perfect example.
Add into we have to add into the mix that the copper colored people that were here already were also put into slavery.
But here's the thing:
we have to get away from this narrative that every single black person was brought here by a boat.
Came over. But here's the crazy part:
10% of us.
So it was not the entire black population in America was not brought here by boat.
So the question is, which 10% of you are you the people that was here already, or 10%? Do you know
your history directly? That was here already. We was already.
You don't know.
Yes, we do.
Some of us know and some of us don't know. Some of us don't know if we part of that 10% or not. Let's be realistic here. And the reason why I
can tell you this much: if somebody can, especially a black person in America, can trace their lineage to know that they. Let me just use one tribe: Cherokee. Cherokee were copper-colored people. And those copper-colored people were one of the many, because the Cherokee Nation was one of the biggest nations on the East Coast. So they were part of a large part of the people that got enslaved. It wasn't just the people that they brought over in boats, because like if you just think about it, if it takes 3 months for them to get one boat here with all these people, they're not all going to survive. So it's impossible to bring over millions of people.
And hold up, but also remember, they wasn't ships. Ships didn't start it until 1880 something.
And where are the remnants of the boats? We have so many different architecture. Archaeology of different things. But where's all these slave ships?
Where are they? No. Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
I seen like two.
Hold on one second. First of all, we only discover less than 5% of the ocean, so we don't know what's down there.
Come
right?
on, man. That would
No,
be
I'm
that would be
that's
an
like-
hour.
No,
along our coast.
I'm being realistic.
Okay.
We
Okay,
only.
look.
But
you can't come
here's
across.
let's look at financial
You have to
records.
go down and up.
One thing is for
from
certain.
Africa.
One thing
There
for
ain't
certain.
no way they brought millions of people.
The
here.
closest,
No way.
There's no
listen
way.
to what I'm saying. The closest to reliable as far as financial records, because obviously they don't care about our history, but they do care about their dollars and cents, right? So they said only 3 estimated with the records they have, because they got a lot of. Let me finish this.
But
A lot of the records they have is around 387,000 people they brought over here. It wasn't all the millions of people that they said.
I would even go as far as saying they probably
got
murdered
financial
most
records.
of them
They
before
got
they even
names.
got.
They got
listen,
documents to support this, though.
You-
It's not like they
who
just threw a
knows?
number
Wait
out
a
the
minute.
air.
Who knows if a lot of those enslaved people weren't stolen, where they never got documented? You know what I mean? Like how many of these wicked?
No,
people
you got
probably were
documented.
stealing
You know
the
why?
women,
Because it's in the
raping
best
them?
interest of the land. No,
Well,
remember,
I use the word.
the reason why you was documented, heavily documented, and almost as accurate as it could
because
be.
money was exchanged.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the government.
From West Africa.
Remember the history of the government. The government said the more slaves you got, the more land we give you. So the last thing you want to do is not report all the slaves you got, right? It makes sense to have as much slaves you could possibly have. So some
Yeah,
people
but
come over
they
here
did
with
that.
their slaves from
You
Europe.
got to remember, these people didn't think of all of this stuff ahead of time, right? They was already doing stuff, and then they started creating different standards. Like, okay, everybody's doing this now. All right, well, in order for you to get more, now you have to record this. In order for you to get, so they were already doing stuff before it was even recorded. So it's not just about what's actually on paper. There's so
That's
much
true.
more. Like there's more people. Like there's just cities alone that are what do you call grave sites? We don't know how many
Yeah.
bodies are down there. You know what I mean?
There's
Like we
grave
really
sites
don't know.
There's grave sites on construction buildings that you go
In
into.
Manhattan, there's grave
There's
sites.
grave
They
sites all
still
over the
finding
place.
grave sites in Manhattan.
Look,
There's a
this is
grave
a
site on
people-
Staten Island right now that there's a whole shopping center built on top of on Forest
Yeah.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Like
Makes sense.
they're all
Also,
over the place.
also, the people that was here already, they didn't document them.
Exactly. They reclassified
didn't.
them.
No, they didn't.
You know why? You know why they got documented? I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Action,
Uh-huh.
what their last name is.
You still with the last name?
You know why? You know why? Because it's so easy. It's so easy. I could take your last name right now and I could trace it back in the
The
system right
people
now,
that were
and I can
owned,
see,
that
and I
got
can point out,
sold
and I'm
had
pretty
a
sure I
last
could come
name.
across some of your family members
what's
that
this,
you actually
what
know.
they said, the
Your
census.
great
The
grands.
census was
that
not
was probably
created
part
in
of
the, like the
slaves.
census was not the like put it this way. I'm gonna just use an example. Let's just say
Cities are
hypothetically.
built on graves. That's
I'm
true.
gonna say hypothetically, let's say in 1850 they started doing their bullshit. The census didn't come in until probably 10 years later, or 5 years later. It's like they were already doing stuff. Then they created the census for them to be able to
But
start
since-
recording things so that they can now
No,
allocate
no.
all the shit that they're stealing.
No, but you got to remember, if I have all this live property, it's like having cattle. I got 34 cows, right? I got 24 pigs, and I got 89 woolly haired black people. That's my shit. So I'm gonna make sure I have documents of who I got. So whether it was naturally reported, everybody
You wouldn't
knew
need
how
those
much they had.
documents until there was a
You
reason
just
for
answered
you
your
to
own
need the
question.
documents for something.
Remember
Things.
when they was building this country, they said, "Yo," they was telling a lot of the people from Europe, besides the ones that was getting kicked out the country, and Europe was exiling them. They came here to get safe haven. But you got ones that say, "Hey, come
How
to
ironic.
America, and we give you
Okay.
50 acres.
Look,
come to
look,
America, we
look,
give you
look,
125
look.
acres, depending on how many slaves you got. The more slaves you got, we give you more acres. So guess what? Some of them came with their slaves. Some of them took slaves here and did whatever.
Look, I'm gonna say
But for the
one
most
thing,
part-
But
and I
they were
gotta
still
go.
kidnapping the
Yeah, of
natives
course
that
it's
were
kidnapping.
here
Yeah.
If you
and then
look at-
reclassifying them and selling them
Yeah.
into slavery.
If you look at it now, there's a lot of undocumented people here. We don't know how many Mexican people is really here.
Perfect
That's
example.
that's
That's a perfect example.
same way how it was back then. What goes around comes around 360. So you can't sit there and say, well, I read this.
Every
and
single
they
head
said
was
this and they
accounted
said
for.
that.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's not. I'm not.
No way
No.
every
If-
single head
no,
was
obviously,
accounted for.
and if I have to be clear, I'll be clear. I'm not saying everybody was recorded.
That was
But
this
for the
whole
most
argument.
For the
That was
most,
whole
no, for
argument
the
about-
no, but for the most part, they have very good records because it's financial
No,
records.
they don't. No,
They have
don't.
good records.
What I'm saying is
They
that
have
the
good records because
that
it's
they
financial
have,
records.
listen,
It's financial
there are
reasons.
a lot of records, and a lot
I
of
can
these
research
records.
both of you guys, and I can look at your lineage, and I can find your whole history, your great. I can find all that. I can find the slave shit. It's not hard to see. It's public information, and I can research that all.
They're not going to find my family slave ships because we were
my
here
family
already.
wasn't on slave ships. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I ain't saying slaves. I'm not
already.
saying slave ships. I'm talking about your slave, your emerald, your crust, your slave crust, everything. I can find all that. I can find a plantation with some of your family members that you probably know the names.
Even the story of the Trail of Tears, right? Where they were saying that millions of Native Americans passed away. No, they stole them, which most of them were coppered colored people. They stole them and put them into slavery. And then inflated the numbers of who came over on the boats. Like a lot of the people that are here now are descendants of the people that were already here that got enslaved.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, they might have changed their names eventually, but there was a lot of people that was already here. We got reclassified. Again, Red, you might be mad at this, but you could do the research. When Christopher Columbus came first, he called the people here Indians.
But
then they turned. Hold on. Y'all don't let me finish.
He was in the Caribbean.
Then they stopped calling us Indians and they started calling us Negroes. Negroes. Then we went from Negroes to being coloreds. Then we went from colors to being Negroes again, and then we went from Negroes to being black. Then we went from black to being African American. We've been reclassified mad times. Because the reason they keep doing that is because if we find out that this is our land, we could take it.
Yeah, exactly. But Christopher Columbus, he didn't go to America. He was in the Caribbean.
No, he didn't go to America, but they were calling. He went into. I think he hit Florida at a point.
No, he went. The farthest he went, he went to Dominican Republic, and then when he went to Dominican Republic, he went back to Europe and told the Pope that I found people that look like them with woolly hair.
Like even the Seminolials. I know I'm not saying it right.
He never even made it.
The Seminole Indians. I know I'm chopping the name up. They were here already. They're black. People. The Californians. They were black.
Remember, people. a lot of Indians that's here on this continent, like the native, the one that's
the Gullah Geechee people that were down in Florida. They were already there, and they're still there. They're still there to this day, the Gullah Geechee people.
Yeah.
So,
but guess what the Geechee people are? An African tribe. They're from Africa.
Yeah, that's true.
Those are my family members. They're from Africa, and I know my roots from there. The Geechee. That's why you got to understand something. English is not our language. That's the reason why we create languages within languages. That's why we have our own slang.
Well, if you really want to get
this is not our
original
shit.
From down south, the people from down south just have they changed up the British accent. Like that's what the accent down south, people that talk like this, they like that. Yeah, that's just talking a little bit of English,
get
but
crazy,
they slow it down.
Yo, Red, you know Geechee? Yo, y'all know Geechee? Yo, I had a guy try to talk Geechee to me. I said, "What the fuck you just said?" I said, "Yo, you disrespect me?" He said, "No." I said, "Yo, we gonna have a good time." I'm like, "What? You said that Geechee?" They really got their whole language out. It's crazy.
So much undocumented history.
But it's but you know
the black people that were here already.
But you know what? What makes
I'll even say that it probably is documented, but they took the information and probably burnt it or hid it somewhere.
No, some of the stuff is public knowledge because it's money. Like I said, anything that's money involved, they're gonna try to keep it intact as much as possible. Not saying it's perfect. I never meant to say it's perfect, but they do got some documentation. No, but here's the thing.
Exactly.
They do got some documentation out there because the fact that
there's books right now in the Library of Congress that people have not been able to see. These books are in locked rooms behind doors with a whole bunch of locks that people cannot see, and it's in the Library of Congress, and the Library of Congress is supposed to be public knowledge. But no, it's not. Not all of it. Not all the information is public.
Not public.
Matter of fact,
all of it is public.
No, it's never for
Are you talking about the Vatican?
You go there.
We ain't gonna go to the Vatican. That's a whole nother story.
That's where all our shit is at, right there. But
Most
I gotta
of it
go.
is there.
I gotta get out of here. like they already calling me and beeping and
well, wait, listen, we wrapping up anyway because it is about that time. I hope everybody enjoyed today's episode. Like this was a great, like, oh man, good times. People, we are Awareness Academy 411. Again, I'm your girl Wendy Zizzo here with Nappy Red and Kirk the Jerk. Y'all have a good night till next time. Peace and blessings.
Uh-oh.